News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. On the Mark is powered by Cunis Country Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area at 221 North 36th Street, Quincy. Faith, family, and giving back. That's Cunis Country. And now, here's Mark Hespin.
Good morning, Tri-States, and wherever you may be listening on the News Talk 1070 KHMO app. This is On the Mark. I am Mark Hespin. Brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the Tri-State area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. Faith, family, giving back. It's all about the lifetime powertrain warranty at Cunis Honda Hyundai. Tell them Mark sent you. Welcome on in to episode 210 of On the Mark here on this November 11th, 11/11, Make a Wish. Broadcasting live from the KHMO studios here in the heart of Quincy at 24th and Broadway. You can follow me on X, on YouTube, and on Instagram at Mark Hespin, MarkHespen. You can follow this show, just search On the Mark KHMO on Facebook, engage with the conversation there, and join in. And you can see me here in studio if you care to look at me as I get emotional and crazy during the sports show with the Facebook Live on the Mark KHMO on Facebook. Welcome on in. We got a jam-packed show for you today. A full breakdown of Week 10 in the NFL. We have four really good teams on a bye this week. So that means we're losing some good games. There are some tough games on the schedule this week, I got to be honest. But we'll get through them all. And then Jim Harbaugh scandal, college football. We'll talk about that with Michigan versus Penn State today. Some NBA thoughts to wrap up the show later on. I would be remiss if I didn't start this episode of On the Mark by saying congratulations to the Hannibal Pirates. Way to go, Hannibal. Making it to the quarterfinals for 4 straight years now. What a dominating win over Warrenton. 55. You put up the double nickel on them. That's awesome. And today, huge games here in the Tri-States. Good luck to the Camp Point Panthers and good luck to the QHS Blue Devils. We'll be rooting for you here at On the Mark and hopefully still be talking about you guys playing high school football in a week from now. Some really spectacular local high school football. If you can get out and support Camp Point or QHS today, I highly suggest you do. It's going to be a gorgeous day for some football in the Tri-States. All right, let's jump into it. Hespin headline number 1. I have a plan to make sure the Chicago Bears turn this puppy around. Hear me out.
Hespin's headlines On the Mark.
Hespin headline number 1. Follow my lead, Bears. Follow my lead. Can I just start by saying this? The Bears 16-13 win Thursday Night Football over the Panthers. I'm really glad I don't have to watch Tyson Bagent play quarterback again next week. You start to, as a fan, you go through this like kind of, what are the 7 stages of grief after like someone dies? You know what I mean? You're like sadness, acceptance, bargaining, anger. You do that with a backup quarterback. The backup comes in for the first time and you get that little like, ooh, it's kind of exciting. This is kind of fun. We get to see what this guy's like. And he's a rookie and we've never seen him before. And then it gets to this kind of like, oh, I'm starting to fall in love with this guy. All right, he's slinging it around. He's a gunslinger. He's mobile. Look at him move. And then it turns into the 5 turnover day like it did in New Orleans last week. You're like, oh, come on, for the love of God. Just enough already. I want Justin Fields back. And credit to the Chicago Bears and Tyson Bagent for basically saying, listen, we can win a game against a bad Panthers team if you don't turn the ball over. And he didn't turn the ball over, and he didn't take any sacks, and he really was a game manager. And that's when it dies, right? That's when the love for the backup dies, when the backup just becomes the game manager. But I really do think the Bears found their backup quarterback of the future. You're not paying the kid anything. He went 2-2 in his 4 games as a starter. That's what you want. You want your backup to come on in and just hold steady. Hold steady for as many games he had to play. And now we're ready to see Justin Fields take the reins once again. So let's talk about the Chicago Bears. What's my plan to fix the Chicago Bears? This This is my dream scenario. I want it clear. I want it out there. I want you all to know it. I think the best thing for the Chicago Bears is to retain Justin Fields, to fire Matt Eberflus, and to trade for Maxx Crosby. All right, so hear me out. This is a big plan. There's a lot to this, all right? There's a lot to this. Chicago Bears here now, they will have a bye week, and then they have 7 games left on the schedule. Obviously, Justin Fields has to do his part to this. Justin Fields has to play well. He has to play like the Justin Fields we saw in the Denver game, in the Washington game, at times last year when he was the most athletic dude on the field, make it embarrassing guys with his legs. Justin Fields has to do his part. He's an important part of this. He has to play well. If Justin Fields plays well, he can lead the Bears to about 5-6 victories. By my estimation, if he can get another 3 wins over the next 7 games, there are some really winnable games for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears team. You look at the schedule; they have the Lions twice. Can you split with the Lions, a divisional opponent? You have the Vikings. Can you beat up on a Vikings team that is on their backup quarterback? So some chances to win there and impress. Browns is going to be really tough. That's a great defense. But then you have Cardinals, Falcons, Packers in the last 3. Those are 3 really, really winnable games. So here's part 1 is Justin Fields has to do his part. The best thing for the Chicago Bears going forward is that Justin Fields proves that he can stay healthy for 7 games and produce at a really high level, help you win games, and show you that he is the answer. Build around him, support him, and he can be a top 3-4 quarterback in the NFC, leading your team to deep playoff runs. That is step number 1. That's a big step. Justin Fields has got to play his part in this. Step number 2 is fire Matt Eberflus. It doesn't matter if the Bears somehow get to 7 wins and Justin Fields plays really well. We know at this point in time, Matt Eberflus is not the head coach of the future of the Bears. He is not capable of elevating this team to where it needs to go. The man struggles with the microphone at the press conference, struggles with the halftime interviews, with stuff up his sleeve. Nothing that his defense has done has been elite, and he's a defensive coach since he's been here. Now he's been calling the defense the whole year, and they still are not elite at anything, even though they added Montez Sweat, who Sweat was really terrific, by the way, in that Thursday Night Football win. 7 pressures, the most for a Bears player since 2019. Really, really special. And so, Jason Buxman, go blue today. We'll talk about that coming on up. So that's step number 2. You've got to move on from Matt Eberflus. So in my dream scenario right now, I'm painting you the picture that Justin Fields plays really well down the stretch. Justin Fields wins some games down the stretch. Justin Fields shows you this great combination of what we've been hoping for all year, of that he can use the mobility and extend plays and be the most explosive athlete on the field while also throwing for multiple touchdowns and not turning the ball over. So that's step 1. Step 2, move on from Matt Eberflus. Go get Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions. Go get Jim Harbaugh from the Michigan Wolverines. Be aggressive. Go get Eric Bieniemy away from the Washington Commanders. Go get your offensive head coach of the future. That's part of step 2. And then step 3 would be hope that the Carolina Panthers continue to lose games so your pick from the Carolina Panthers becomes a 1 or a 2 or a 3 pick. Let's look at the standings of the tank, right? The tank is on right now for Carolina. They are, with the New York Giants, the 2 worst teams in football. The Arizona Cardinals just got back Kyler Murray. I expect Arizona to win some games. If you look at Arizona's schedule, they have some winnable games coming on up, and I expect them to be able to win some games now that Kyler Murray's back. I expect Arizona to probably, like the Bears, end up with too many wins to where they're not in the top 3. To me, I project the top 3 to be Carolina, the New York Giants, and then either the New England Patriots or the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to struggle to win games here on the remaining side. But either way, the Carolina Panthers are pretty much guaranteeing you a top 3 pick. Use that top 3 pick. So if steps 1 and 2 have worked for you, right? Justin Fields is the guy. You want to build around him. Step 2, you fire Matt Eberflus and you hire Jim Harbaugh or you hire Ben Johnson, right? You've done those 2 things. And now that you're a month away from the draft and you have the number 1 overall pick from the Carolina Panthers, call the Raiders, go get Maxx Crosby and 2 first-round picks. And say, you can have Caleb Williams to try and compete with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. We want Maxx Crosby and 2 first-round picks. Or do it with insert team here. Say it's not that maybe the Tampa Bay Bucks will give you an even better deal because they want to get Caleb Williams. Say, hey, we'll give you Mike Evans and we'll give you 2 first-rounders and a 3rd. Boom. All right, done deal. Let's move on from it. Maybe the Giants get desperate. They want the number 1 overall pick. They want Caleb Williams. All right, give us Saquon Barkley and 2 future first-round picks. Done. Deal. Move on from it. The Bears, the best thing they have done in the last 3 years is the DJ Moore trade. They have an opportunity to do that again. And if you think about it truly in this scenario, and I know a lot of people yelling at me, but Mark, Caleb Williams is a can't-miss prospect. Is he really? He's really good. I really like Caleb Williams. Is he as can't-miss as we believe he is? We have seen Bryce Young struggle. The smaller, mobile guys, Kyler Murray, struggle. Tua, struggle. Russell Wilson now, really struggling. The guys who are showing us they have long-term success so far, big, tall, stand in the pocket in the recent drafts. Who are those guys? Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. So let someone else fall in love with Caleb Williams. You get their first-round pick. You get their best player like the Bears did with DJ Moore. And all of a sudden, you will have another elite A player to go with your elite player A in DJ Moore you just got. You'll have another first-round pick. So even if Justin Fields flames out on you next year, you'll then have another 2 first-round picks to keep going. Keep building this thing. Keep using this. Extend this DJ Moore deal. Continue to build on it. That's my dream scenario for the Chicago Bears. And if the worst-case scenario for the Chicago Bears is they end up with a new head coach, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., is that so bad? No, it's not so bad. The Chicago Bears are in a really, really great spot. They're in a really great spot. The only way the Chicago Bears next year are not improved, and I would be frustrated as a fan, is if Matt Eberflus is still the head coach of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears need to move on from Matt Eberflus. They need to find their offensive head coach of the future, and they need to find a way. Ryan Pohl's done it once. He can do it again to turn the first or second pick into an A-plus current pro and multiple picks in the coming years. That is the plan for the Chicago Bears. Whether it's Maxx Crosby from the Raiders, whether it's Saquon Barkley from the Giants, whether it's Mike Evans from the Bucks, whether it's Devontae Adams from the Raiders, whoever Matthew Judon from the Patriots and some first-round picks. Go get another A player, okay? Patrick Surtain from the Broncos and picks. Go get an A player, all right? And then use that to your advantage. A player, picks, new head coach, Justin Fields pops over the next 7 games. The Chicago Bears can really, really put themselves in a spot to be extremely successful in the coming years. But they have to follow that plan. They've got to follow that plan. And it's a lot. There's a lot of what-ifs in that plan. But again, if everything falls apart and the Bears stink and Justin Fields stinks down the road, Matt Eberflus' only hope of keeping his job is somehow winning a bunch of games and looking really, really competent. I don't think they're going to win a bunch of games because I don't think the head coach is competent. But I think they'll win some games, but they'll look at it and they'll understand we won those games because of Justin Fields and DJ Moore, not because of Matt Eberflus. Right? So the Chicago Bears are in a really, really unique position. That's my plan. That's what I'm rooting for. I'll always root for the Bears to win. I love my team. But that is what they need to do. Justin Fields, keep him. Make sure he pops. Fire Matt Eberflus. Go get me Jim Harbaugh. And then turn the number 1 overall pick from the Panthers into another first-round pick next year. More picks this year and Maxx Crosby. And all of a sudden, the Chicago Bears, the juggernaut's back. You would get you'd still have 2 top 10 picks this year. Maxx Crosby, Montez Sweat, DJ Moore. All of a sudden, you're adding a lot of talent to this roster really, really quickly. And if you have a really good, competent coach like a Jim Harbaugh, or we think a Ben Johnson could be, this team is winning a lot of games really quickly, especially if Justin Fields can stay healthy and can continue to grow and pop. You're listening on the Mark News Talk 1070 KHMO, the KHMO app, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, your number 1 Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. When we come back, we're going to break down every single game of Week 10 in the NFL and some big teams on a bye. We'll check in with them and what my kind of state on how all those teams are feeling. We're live and local on America's News Talk 1070 KHMO, the KHMO app. It's on the Mark.
Hun,
From the Salvation Army, welcome to Heartbeat.
Counterfeiting is a serious problem in our country. It's been estimated that American businesses lose more than $250 billion annually because of it. In 2021, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection made more than 13,000 seizures of counterfeit goods. And believe it or not, footwear comprised 40% of those fake items. Thousands of people are walking around in counterfeit shoes. The Bible says that if we claim to have fellowship with God and yet walk in darkness, we lie and do not live by the truth. It might be easy to fool people with fake shoes, but it is impossible to fool God with a counterfeit faith.
For more episodes of Heartbeat, visit salvationarmyradio.org.
1070 KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here in News Talk 1070 KHMO, the KHMO app, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai. They are the buying center of the tri-states. Listen, if you're selling your car, you got to go to Cunis Honda Hyundai. They have checks in hand, Kelley Blue Book values. Don't deal with creepy dudes on Facebook Marketplace who want to see your car at like midnight on a Tuesday and then way lowball you here. Go to Cunis Honda Hyundai, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy, and then make yourself a deal you won't soon regret. All right, let's jump into it. Hespin headline number 2, Week 10 in the NFL.
Hespin's headlines on the Mark.
Week 10 in the NFL. Let's go through the picks. I will get to my lock and my upset when we arrive at the games. And I like my lock and my upset this week. We'll start in Germany for the Frankfurt games. The Colts, they are 2-point favorites against the Patriots overseas. Now, the Patriots are 3-0 in their international games, but they had Tom Brady for all 3 of those games. Colts are 4-5, Patriots 2-7. Listen, I really think that the Indianapolis Colts are the better team right now, and they are playing with more confidence, but this is a lot for them on the road against a New England team that, let's face it, it's not talented, but it is well coached. I think the Colts being favorites is scary. Belichick is an underdog. I think the Patriots find a way to win this game, and it's kind of a last stand for New England as the rest of the season will really fall apart for them, I think. I think they win this game because of experience. I think they win this game because of coaching, international. Like, there's all of the X factors. If this was just Colts at Patriots in New England, I would take the Colts. But I really think that the whole international travel thing, both teams are leaving at the same time, so you don't have to worry about any of that. I really just think that's an advantage for Bill and his staff and the knowledge and the veterans they have on New England. I'll take the Patriots to win barely in an ugly game, 17-14 against the Colts. Texans-Bengals. This should be one of the top 3 games of the weekend. C.J. Stroud is as hot as any quarterback in the NFL, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. The 4-4 Texans at the 5-3 Bengals. Jamar Chase, very questionable for this game. T. Higgins is already out for this game. But the Texans injury report is wild. They are missing a ton of talent. I think this is a little bit of a comeback to earth game for the Texans. Listen, the Texans are well outperforming expectations. They have been one of the surprises of the NFL season. C.J. Stroud has been an absolute star. But I think the Bengals at home, Joe Burrow. Listen, the Texans have struggled on the road. They have 4 losses. 3 of them are on the road. Bengals, meanwhile, are 3-1 at home. Welcome to the Jungle, Texans. I think C.J. Stroud throws his second interception. I think the Bengals, even without Hubbard, their defensive end, could create some pressure against that Texans offensive line that isn't great. And I think Joe Burrow balls out, keeps this train moving. He's playing MVP football right now. I'll take the Bengals at home. Do they cover the 6.5? I don't know. I think it's 27-24. Fun game late. C.J. Stroud keeps it close. Bengals win. Saints 5-4 at the 5-4 Vikings. New Orleans favored by 3. This is my second upset of the week. It's not my official one, but it's my second level. I love the Vikings at home. I really do. The Saints are a team that barely beat the Bears when they had a +5 turnover margin. The only thing the Saints really have going for them in this game is that the Vikings love to blitz and the Saints love to throw screens. So it's going to be a lot of dink and dunk, but I really think there's something special going on in Minnesota with Josh Dobbs, Kevin O'Connell. I think they ride that wave for another week against a Saints team that has been very average this year and very underwhelmingly coached this year. I think the Vikings find a way to win at home in an ugly game, 20-17. Josh Dobbs does it again. Vikings move to 6-4 on the year. One of the surprises, especially since the Kirk Cousins injury. Packers at the Steelers. Here is my lock of the week. Steelers -3.5. This Packers offense is not good. The one thing they got going for them last week was running the ball, but that was at home. This is on the road against one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL. I think this is a perfect spot for Kenny Pickett and the offense for the Steelers, too, to kind of get going a little bit against the Packers defense at the back end that isn't special, especially after trading Rasul Douglas. I think the Packers are going to really struggle to move the ball. I think the Steelers are going to score on defense. I sense a pick 6 in this game. I sense Jordan Love getting beat up in this game, getting sacked a bunch. I like the Steelers at home. Renegade will be blaring. Give me the Steelers 24. I'll go 24. They find a way to score that many points. 13. I think it's a really good, easy blowout win for the Steelers. I really do. I think the 24 comes from the fact that I think late in the game they have a pick 6 that kind of seals it, or a strip sack fumble, TJ Watt. Something big defensively is going to happen. I think the Packers will leave this game. I think Sunday night Packers fans will be really asking themselves, like, what do we do? What do we do? Jordan Love isn't the guy. And what's going to be funny is the Packers will be one of those teams that will be maybe looking to trade to the Bears, as I just mentioned, to go and get aggressive. Will the Bears actually do it? I don't think the Bears will let the Packers move up to that spot and take a Caleb Williams or Drake May in division. And I don't know what, but I think that's the kind of situation Packers fans will find them in Sunday night. I think this will be one of those really ugly games that gets them in there like, what do we do? Because this isn't working. Steelers defense is nasty at home. Packers are 1-3 on the road this year. All signs point to a Steelers comfortable win, 24-13. That is my lock of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers -3.5. Titans 3-5, 0-4 though on the road at the Buccaneers 3-5. The Buccaneers are in a tailspin. I like the Titans. Will Levis playing really solid football, and he had a chance to win the game last week for the Titans, but late interception against a very good defense in the Steelers last week, a better defense that he's going to be facing this week. I think the rookie finds a way to win this game. I also think we're heading into November. This is that point in time of the year where the Titans historically in the last 4 years have sort of leaned on Derrick Henry. I think we'll start to see that again. Derrick Henry, 600 yards, 4 touchdowns through 8 weeks. I think this could be a big Derrick Henry breakout game. I know that the Buccaneers have a stout defense, but it's an older defense. It's late in the year. There's some injuries there. And I think this is where the Buccaneers will start to go into a tailspin of saying, hey, maybe we need to be thinking about calling the Bears for getting that number 1 overall pick and resetting our franchise. Titans have their guy. The Bucs don't. I think Will Levis has a really nice game. I think they feed Derrick Henry. I like the Titans on the road in a close one, 24-21 win over the Bucs in Tampa. 49ers at the Jaguars. This is the game you got to watch tomorrow at noon. I really like the Bengals and Texans. They would be TV2 for me. This is the must-watch game of the noon slate tomorrow. The 49ers are 3-point favorites at the Jaguars. 5-3 Niners off of the bye. They're 2-2 on the road. They get Chase Young. They get Deebo Samuel back. They are on the road against the Jaguars team that's also off the bye, as healthy as they have been, taking some time at 6-2. The Jaguars +3 at home is my upset of the week. I'm getting the Jags at home and 3 points against a San Francisco 49ers team that is in a slight panic mode. I love it. I love the Jags in this game. Listen, if the Jags lose this game, who cares? They have control of their division. No one's expecting to win the game. They're underdogs. All the pressure is on the 49ers to win this game, right? You've lost 3 in a row. They're silently starting to talk about Brock Purdy in that locker room. Is he the guy? 3 in a row. You don't have Deebo, and you don't have Trent Williams, and you can't win. Brock Purdy can't get us a win without those guys. I think there's a ton of pressure on San Francisco. And I think this is a beautiful sleeper game for the Jaguars. At home, that defense has more bite to it than you expect. I think they're able to create a little bit of pressure on Brock Purdy. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a handful for that 49ers defense. He can single-handedly win you a game with his legs, with his arm. I think the bye came at a great week for the Jaguars to get healthy, to help reset their offense a little bit that had gone cold. I love the Jaguars at home. This is going to be a really exciting game. I think they win 24-17 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. I think they not only cover, I think they win. And the great thing is, if you're going to stick with me on this bet, it's Jags +3. So if they lose, I think it's a really close game. I think it's 21-20 if they lose. So I think they cover regardless. So that's why I feel confident about this being a 2-0 week. Steelers, lock, -3.5. Jags, upset, +3. Duval. All right. You're listening on the Mark News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. Brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, going through Week 10 in the NFL. Final game of the morning slate, the noon slate, the Browns at the Ravens. This is the other really nice game of the morning. I would say this is TV3. I'll just say this. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have been a juggernaut. They're 7-2. They are running the ball like no one's business. They're at home against a Browns team that has been shaky. Their defense is terrific, but all we've seen from Deshaun Watson is up and down, and he had missed a lot of time with the injury. Is he fully healthy? He had a get-right game against the Cardinals last week. The Ravens are favored by 6.5. Lamar Jackson only has, through 9 games, 9 touchdown passes. I mean, he hasn't had to be Superman. I think he balls out this game. This Cleveland defense, is very good. But I think this Ravens offense is overwhelming. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think they're going to be able to get the play action looks. I think Mark Andrews has a big game. I'll take the Ravens 27-21. The Browns cover 27-21. Give me the Ravens at home to beat the Browns to move to 8-2 and officially have the Chiefs on notice as if they win this game, if they cover this game or win it by, more than a field goal at home. I mean, this is a real Browns defense. If the Ravens can ball out like I think they will, the Ravens may jump up my power rankings. I mean, seriously, this could be a really impressive win in division at home against a very, very good Browns defense. Let's get into the 3 o'clock slate. The Falcons at the Cardinals. Gross, ugly. Don't want to watch. 4-5 Falcons at the 1-8 Cardinals. I said it earlier when talking about the picks. I think this is the start of Kyler Murray. He is not only auditioning for his job with the Cardinals, he's auditioning for a job in the National Football League. And I know it's going to be a lot for him to come back after the ACL, very rusty. But I think you're going to see Kyler Murray put on a show against this Falcons defense. I like the Cardinals in this game. I'll take the Cardinals to win in upset fashion. I'll take them to win 30-24. They take down the Falcons in a wild game. And all of a sudden, Arizona is going to feel good about the fact that they have a high pick and Kyler Murray coming back playing well. I think Arizona, by the end of the year, they got to decide, are they in the quarterback market or not? Kyler Murray, I think, can make that easy for them here. I think he's been humbled a bit. Kyler Murray was on such a meteoric rise. He had a bad playoff loss, and then last year tears his ACL. I think he's been humbled a bit. I think you're going to see a Kyler Murray come on out, ball out. He's really, really accurate. I don't think you'll see 100% of the mobility, but I think you'll see him dink and dime and knife his way through a Falcons defense, get an upset win, and reassert himself as like, hey, I'm a guy that is a absolute starting quarterback in the NFL. And no one's been lower on Kyler Murray in his career than me. But I really think he's going to have a nice game and he's going to win one. Lions 6-2 at the 4-4 Chargers. Lions are 3-1 on the road. They're favored by 3. Yeah, I love the Lions in this game. I have a more consistent offense. I have a better overall team. They're on the road, and I have a better coach team. I like the Lions off of the bye, well-rested against a Chargers team that is coming off a Monday Night Football short week for them. I like the Lions to win, and I like them to win pretty easily. I don't think this Chargers defense is what we saw against the Jets. I think that's just the Jets offense being really, really bad. And I think this Lions defense can absolutely make life tough on Justin Herbert as he's still dealing with that broken finger. I like the Lions 27-17. 27-24. I think it's a little closer than it should be. Lions win, beat the Chargers on the road. Giants, Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 17. I don't want to touch the line, but I do think the Giants are officially now into tank mode. I think they are 100% into tank mode. When you start a guy named Tommy DeVito, the reports are this morning he lives with his mom and dad. Yeah, you're going into tank mode. The Cowboys, on the other hand, coming off a really frustrating loss against Philly. Cowboys beat up bad teams. They lose to good teams. They're going to beat up the Giants. I think they'll win. I think they'll cover. I think this is ugly. I think this is 27-3 type of game. I mean, this Cowboys defense is real. Like, really real. Maybe 27-6. Maybe you get a couple field goals. I'll take the Cowboys in a blowout fashion at home against the Giants. Commanders coming off a surprising win against the Patriots on the road against the Seattle team that got absolutely shellacked last week. I like Seattle at home. I think Seattle is a team that is destined to make a playoff run. I think they're a team that has too many pieces and are too well coached to not make a playoff run. But again, Seattle's a lot like Dallas. They can beat bad teams, but they're going to lose to good teams, and they're going to lose in bad fashion to good teams. Seattle at home -6. Yeah, I think that's about right. Washington having to travel, young quarterback in Seattle in that noise, in that environment. It's going to be rainy and chilly. I'll take the Seahawks 27-17 win over the Commanders. Seahawks cover. Sunday Night Football. Why, God, why do we have to watch the Jets versus the Raiders? I hate it. I really do. Yeah, I think the Jets win. I think the Raiders got a bump. They got the interim coach bump. But the Jets were really embarrassed on national TV. I think their defense knows that they can really, really ball. And I think they know that they're going up now against an offense and Aiden O'Connell that's not Justin Herbert. So I think you're going to see this Jets defense basically win this game. There's one really great unit playing football in this game, and that's the Jets defense. So I'm going to rely on them. I think it's ugly. I think it's low scoring. I think both defenses play well. I think the Jets defense is able to create a score. So I'll take the Jets 17-13 win on the road in Vegas. I think Antonio Pierce might be the coach of the future for the Raiders. Don't get me wrong. But I think the Jets are sneaky, and the Jets are 500 for a reason. They're able to win some of these games, and I think this is also the beginning of the Raiders realizing no one needs the number one pick more than the Raiders. They need Caleb Williams. The Raiders need Caleb Williams. You're in a division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. You need Caleb Williams. So I think this is the beginning of the Raiders figuring out they need Caleb Williams. And I think the best thing that they can do would be to trade Maxx Crosby this year's first and next year's first to the Chicago Bears. I'm going to will this into existence. I'm telling you. I have stolen this idea from no one. I'm putting it into the universe. If it happens, credit on the Mark Hespin. And then Monday Night Football, Broncos, Bills. Yeah, I love the Bills. It's an easy one. Broncos coming off a bye on the road, traveling. They're 1-2 on the road this year. Listen, I'm not buying that the Bills are dead yet. I think it's a great get-right game for the Bills. It's a Broncos defense that, remember, gave up 70 points on the road to the Dolphins. I think this is a great get-right game for the Bills to get to 6-4, steady the ship in prime time. I think it'll be close. I think the Broncos are improving, but the Broncos will lose, and the Broncos will start to also secretly figure out a way for them to get Caleb Williams. I'll take Patrick Surtain, and this year's first and next year's first for Caleb Williams. Make it happen, Bears. I'll take the Bills at home, 27-20. I think it's a push. This line is 7 on Monday Night Football over the Broncos. You're listening on the Mark News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. When we come back, college football, Jimmy Harbaugh, he's in some hot water. I think it's ridiculous, but I think it helps drive him to the Chicago Bears, so I'm not that angry about it. We're live and local in America's News Talk 1070 KHMO, the KHMO app. It's on the Mark.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Well, John, the stage is set for the final transaction.
That's right, Joe. Heather's moment has arrived, and you just hope all that training pays off.
Heather lays down her purchase, but Randy rings it up as slowly as he can.
He is a wily veteran.
It gives Heather's eyes the chance to wander.
Uh-oh.
Yep, she's looking at the cigarettes.
There's nothing good back there. Quit now, and in 5 years, your odds of getting certain cancers drop 50%.
Meanwhile, Randy's stone-faced. He's giving nothing away. He just stands there, wetting his cashier's finger on that sponge.
Heather toes the rubber.
Here we go. Heather's arm is in motion. But instead of pointing at the back wall, she just grabs the gum off the counter.
That's a slick move.
Heather back. She is out of there. Even Randy tips his cap to Heather. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally wants you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
The COVID-19 vaccine is an important choice for people at higher risk of COVID-19 complications because of diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart conditions. Getting back to life. It's up to you. A message from the American Heart Association.
Looking for a career change? Forecast from the News Talk 1070 KHMO Weather Center. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times today with a high of 54. Winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 37 tonight, mainly clear skies. High of 63 tomorrow, sunny skies. Right now 41.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. They are the buying center of the tri-states. If you're selling, they are buying. Stop by the dealership. Tell them Mark sent you. All right, starting to wrap up the show here. Less than 10 minutes left. College football. Let's talk a little Jim Harbaugh. My thought is this. I think it's ridiculous to suspend him right now without knowing everything that's come out of this Connor Stalions alleged sign stealing stuff. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to suspend him. As a fan of football in general, I love it because it's drama. It's ridiculous. It's like soap opera. And I really do think this could be now the last straw for Jim Harbaugh in college football. I think he's so sick of dealing with the NCAA. I really do. And as a Chicago Bears fan, I want Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of my program as the Chicago Bears. But I think it's ridiculous. I think Michigan is going to blow out Penn State today. I really do. I think you're going to see a team play so inspired, so hair on fire. Michigan has better players than Penn State. Michigan has better players than most of the country because Jim Harbaugh has recruited his butt off. McCarthy is playing like a kid who's all of a sudden going to be a first-round draft pick. I think you're going to see them put on a show today in Happy Valley. I like Michigan. It's a huge game. 9-0 Michigan, number 3 in the country, at number 10, 8-1 Penn State. I like Michigan. The other couple big games today, 9-0 Florida State. They're hosting 6-3 Miami. This is a huge in-state rivalry, ACC rivalry. Florida State, they control their own destiny, man. You got to make it through this game and keep holding on. Florida State will be in the playoff if they end undefeated. They know it. So they've got to find a way to avoid the upset here. So you got to keep your eye on that game. Number 9, Ole Miss, 8-1. They have their own coaching scandal right now going on with Kiffin and some inappropriate stuff apparently about overworking a kid and then cutting a kid because he said he had a mental health or something. I don't know what's going on there, but they have a huge opportunity on their hands. Huge opportunity to beat the number 2 team in the country, 9-0 Georgia. Ole Miss 8-1 at Georgia. Can Georgia survive this test? Georgia has had to take some really, really, really big games. They took one on the chin against Mizzou and found a way to win that game last week at home against Ole Miss. Georgia can lose and still make the college football playoff, but their time is running out. You don't want to lose late in the season. You don't. Ole Miss could play spoiler today, but I think Georgia will win. And then it's the last stand for Caleb Williams and USC. It is the last stand. Custer's last stand. We got USC 7-3 at 8-1, number 6 Oregon. Can Caleb Williams bounce back from the tears and the loss last week against Washington when he played his you-know-what off? USC at Oregon. Oregon's the better team. Can USC find a way to upset him? I think they will. I think I'm going to go Caleb Williams and USC. I think Caleb Williams puts on a show, and he's going to remind everyone why he should be the number 1 draft pick. He's going to bounce back from the tears and the performance in that way. I think USC, they fired the defensive coordinator. They're going to play an inspired defense early, be able to hold on late. It's a very good Oregon team. I think Bo Nix, very good quarterback. But I like USC and the Pac-12 to kind of cannibalize themselves here in this moment. USC in the upset at Oregon. Caleb Williams, that's going to be a great late game to keep your eyes on tonight. Wrapping up the show next, a little NBA talk, live and local. It's Mornings of Mark and Sam on 97 on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app.
This week at Target.
If you do not have a vibrant and sustainable middle class where people can have many children, people can affordably pay for health care, people can buy a home and see their life get materially better, then that is how you're going to see a Marxist revolution happen in your country. If you do not have a sustainable middle class, your country will deteriorate. And so that's exactly why the Democrats no longer want to represent the middle class in our country. They're almost annoyed by middle class voters.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Overnights on KHMO and the KHMO mobile app.
1070 KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. Brought to you by the home of the No Fear Lifetime Powertrain Warranty, Cunis Honda Hyundai. You stop by the dealership, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy today, this weekend. They have Veterans Day specials going on. Thank you to all of our veterans. Happy Veterans Day. They're doing some special things over the dealership. Stop by, tell them Mark sent you. All right, in this last couple minutes here, wrap up the show, I just want a couple little NBA things. Clippers are now 0-3 since trading for James Harden. Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, James Harden somehow in the last 2 years ago, Russell Westbrook was the cancer of the league, right? And James Harden was still seen as a valued piece. And now it's like, I think Russell Westbrook's going to play longer than James Harden. If I were the Clippers, I might consider, if it keeps going south over the next 2 weeks, like cutting James Harden, just moving on. Like, if it's that bad. I mean, this is a disaster. We knew it would be, but this is an abject disaster. 0-3 since the James Harden trade. And they just struggle defensively. James Harden is he's going to be out of the league very, very soon. Very, very soon. 76ers, they might be for real. This 76ers team is very good. Tyrese Maxey coming alive. It really feels like now that Harden is off this team, that all of the pieces are really starting to mesh. It's going through Joel Embiid. It's a really fun kind of Kobe Bryant, Shaq, outside, inside, big man, little guy with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. And then, you have Tobias Harris who can still get buckets for you. This 76ers team, if they can stay healthy, could be a real problem. I still think Boston and Milwaukee have more depth and more talent overall. But right now, the team basketball coming out of Philly is impressive. The Bulls stink. 3-14. They have the fourth worst offense in the Eastern Conference, only 108 points per game. Meanwhile, they're giving up 114. 3-6. And it's just bad. Not good. The Bulls, when you look at them in the standings, they're surrounded by teams that don't have nearly as much on-paper talent. They're just not good. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's the messaging. I don't know if it's the team chemistry. I think Kobe White is having a really nice start to the year, but overall just brutal. And then LeBron James, 11 of 17, 32 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists in 36 minutes in a 122-119 Lakers win over the Phoenix Suns last night. LeBron James is not real. That man is not real.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming.